Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The Best of Enemies. Haven't we seen this before? I know, let's give it Best Picture, shall we? But in seriousness, yes, we do have yet another story of a black activist befriending a white racist. In this case, a white supremacist, no less, that's part of the KKK. And that puts me in quite the conundrum just heading into the film. Of course, we can't fully base films just on the trailers. And it starred Taraji P. Henson and Sam Rockwell. It looked like an important event in history and one that I was largely unfamiliar with. I was pretty excited to see this movie. However, I couldn't help but go in just already a little bit disappointed. Disappointed that we were receiving this type of story yet again. I have to say, I left feeling that same conflict. Overall, a good film, but one that I still have a lot of problems with. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, the acting is stellar in this film. I think Taraji P. Henson is great in this movie. She commands the screen literally every second she is on it. It's a physical transformation, but more so it's a real emotional connection to the character, and she made you feel everything you needed to feel. It was a really good performance. And Sam Rockwell is also great. I would say better than he was in Vice, and that performance was nominated for an Academy Award. But here, he provides a lot more depth and a lot more sincerity overall. So it just worked. I thought his performance was very, very good. I just wish maybe we would stop having him play racists. This is yet another time. This is like in the last 3 years he's played a racist. But again, both characters were great. I actually think all of our supporting cast was also very good and delivered really strong, thoughtful, and convincing performances. And as I said in my intro, this is yet another story about civil rights and about black activism that I did not know about. This is another black activist in Anne that I did not know about. And that's a shame, but also shows kind of the importance of film. This was a film that was able to show this piece of history that changed the course of the education system, certainly in one city and in turn in one state and in turn the entire United States. And it is a true story, so we're going to have to keep that in mind when I get to my negatives. But much like Green Book, this is actually a story that happens. It is based off of a book. It is also just based off of facts. And we get to see the interviews with the actual people and their friendship. They toured together. But at least the base of it all, the friendship was real. The events more or less actually took place in this manner. So it's a feel-good story. What are you going to say? They hit the formula and they hit it pretty well. It's pretty hard not to just kind of feel uplifted by the end of this movie and let it sweep you into the narrative that's told. I do think that it is told in an effective manner, that we kind of get that overall development that we need as we work through all of these different issues. I do think that the landscape was told well enough about what was going on in that town. Then you end up with this feel-good story at the end that is effective in lifting your spirit and teaches you about something that maybe the school system should have taught you about long before. So what are my negatives with the film? Well, I'm going to start with just kind of a technical aspect first. And I thought the film was just a bit flat looking all the time. The shot selections were not my favorite. All of the composition within the shots was also not my favorite. We got a lot of shots of just faces staring, and we stayed on those faces staring for too long. There was just no directorial flair or pizzazz. It effectively enough told the story without making it feel cinematic, really. The director is going to lead us right into my main problem with the film. I mean, this is exactly what Green Book kind of got raked over the coals for. We have another white savior film. As I said in my opening, we have another film about a black person having to educate and teach and take all this burden of this white supremacist upon themselves. The kicker here that really kind of annoyed me with this movie is it's not her story. She's not the main character. We don't learn about her family. We don't really see character development within her. We don't know about all of these great things this activist did. We learn about him. We learn about him joining the KKK. We learn about his family and the struggle within his family, about his personal life and his marriage. We see character development in him, and it should be her story. I understand it's more salacious, it can grab more of a headline. KKK president votes in favor of school integration. Honestly, we should be seeing it through her point of view. Should be still focused in on her and have him as the support on the cast instead of vice versa. Especially when you have Taraji P. Henson in the role. She should be the lead. And that's the real problem here, because this story should be told. It is something that needs to be told. It's important, it's impactful, and it is a unique story. I'm ready to see wide releases that don't feel the need to empathize with an oppressor. And I'm just going to say it like that. To expect us all to just overlook all of this terrible that they have done long before we came into the picture in the start of this film, and for a good portion of the movie itself, for one good deed at the end. And now suddenly, you're the savior. You saved the day. It's great to change, and I think middle ground is important, but I also think some of the hard-drawn lines in the sand were important stated here. The tone of the film just felt regressive overall. Some of the messages of the film felt regressive overall. Then, you look at it, it's written and directed by a white man. And it's not to say white people in general cannot empathize with people of other races. It's not to say that we can't all direct each other in films, but we're not there yet. This is yet another white savior film written and directed by a white man. And honestly, you can tell. You can tell because it's another white savior film that feels like most of the other ones we have received. And that's what's so disappointing, is we go from getting Taraji P. Henson starring in Hidden Figures, and we get Best Picture winner Moonlight. We're finally getting these other types of stories told, like Klansman coming forward. And we fall back into safe and comfortable. We need that sympathetic white lead, even in something like Black Klansman, honestly, to connect to the story, or else audiences won't watch it. And again, integration of film is great. We should see all kinds of colors in all of these films. But do we always have to have a white savior? I don't think we do. And I would like to see us explore biopics about people of color who are activists, who did great things, whose stories need to be told. And if there is a white savior in their history, make them a bullet point. Don't make them the lead of the film. So there it is. I think this is an important story. It is an impactful story that accomplishes the feel-good type of storytelling it aims to do, but it misses the mark on the story it's supposed to be telling, because it's simply telling the wrong person's story. And that's what makes it all just a bit disappointing. So I would say if you're into true stories and you're into these feel-good films, then give this a matinee. You'll leave with a smile on your face. Otherwise, I say rent the film. It doesn't really have anything warranting a big screen adaptation, and it's telling the oppressor's story in a sympathetic fashion that honestly left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth by the end of it all. But it's an important story and you should learn about it. So watch the film when it is at the Redbox and then read up on the actual people. So that is my review of The Best of Enemies. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see The Best of Enemies? And what is your favorite wide release black film that doesn't have a white savior? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!